Welcome to the C&C Connection, an all-in-one podcast that touches upon a variety of topics ranging from sports to TV shows. Here are your hosts, the non-experts on everything, Colin and Corey.
Welcome to the C&C Connection. It's Corey, Colin, and Joe. And the reason I'm laughing is because we just probably recorded about 10 minutes of a podcast, but I wasn't recording it. So we
Not only 10 minutes, it was the best 10 minutes ever.
Yeah, I know. You just missed out. Like this could have won an award at how good it was.
It would have changed the world.
It would have changed the world.
Yep.
Yeah, so we were just basically just having a conversation for 10 minutes, and now we have to have that conversation over, so it's going to seem way less genuine. So congrats to all you people who are listening. Initial thoughts, Joe.
It didn't suck. No, it was very. I liked it a lot. It was good.
Colin?
I think it was the best of the season so far.
Wait, you said best of all time?
No.
All right, this is an inside joke, and people aren't going to think it's funny.
Yeah. I did the same thing last time, which is all right. I liked it too. Colin, let's just
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
So we left off last episode where Walt turning the tables on Mike, and he sets up he has a plan to have everyone get what they want. Jesse and Mike can get their $5 million, and he can continue to cook. So it starts off this episode. They're riding out in the desert to meet up with the crew, Declan and crew from Phoenix.
Yep.
And Walt's new plan is to join on with them as their new cook.
Yeah, he basically just wants them to be a distributor for Walt's empire, and he said, you're going to get 35% of the profit, I guess. And then he's like, that's the most you'll ever make. And they're going back and forth arguing about how good. Like, he's like, what's the difference between the blue and our product? And Walt's just, he's flexing his muscles, like you said. He went full Heisenberg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just thought that was a great speech at the beginning there, and it set the tone for the whole episode.
Right. I think this is probably like. Do you think this episode was Walt at his apex? Meaning, he's like completely turned now. He's a Sith.
I don't know.
Is he on the dark side?
Close.
Yeah, I think that speech kind of. I mean, obviously he does more things later on, but this was kind of like the foreshadowing of it, I guess. But I think it's definitely, if not there, maybe next episode.
Okay.
But,
I think the defining moment was later in the episode, but we'll get into that. So basically, Walt just makes them say his name, which is the title of the episode. Again, this is episode 7 of season 5. So next week is the season finale. And I guess he convinces them because they agree to the deal, and Mike gets his $5 million, but Jesse doesn't.
Yeah, well, he's kind of trying to convince Jesse to stay in, and he's negotiating as if him and Jesse are going to be cooking for them,
right?
And they're going to get 33%, and they're basically just going to be taking over Mike's part of the company or whatever, the meth business.
Right.
Yeah, that whole plan at the beginning, that whole speech he gave was based on the assumption that Jesse was going to still be part of it,
Yeah, and basically they get the deal done, and Jesse confronts Walt about it, but Walt just kind of brushes it to the side as if, we'll talk about it later. We're not going to talk about it now.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of saying, like, oh, he's going to manipulate Jesse. He's going to try to, at least.
Yeah, he's just basically, making it seem like he's in control. He's not letting Jesse even have a say in the matter, which doesn't fly later in the episode. So what happens next, Colin?
They go back to the warehouse. Basically, they're talking about the deal, and there's a little conversation between Mike and Jesse, where you can kind of see Mike almost sympathetic to Jesse because he knows that he's not out yet.
Yep.
And he's gonna have to struggle to get out of like Walt's grasp. And it was just basically a conversation back at their like headquarters now.
Right. The bug place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what was telling like a shift for Jesse was, I can't remember if it was this episode or the last one, but he was all upset about the kid being killed, and then Walt tells him he could go home, and then as he's leaving, he hears Walt like whistling, and was that this episode?
No, that was last episode.
Last
It was.
episode.
If you wanted to talk about that episode, you should have came on the podcast last week.
Right. I thought for sure that was this episode. But anyway, go ahead.
But
yeah.
So we're still getting more hints that Jesse's not out completely, and they also mention, I think, the bug in Hank's office.
Yeah,
where they're gonna have to get that out.
Yeah, Mike's saying that's his last thing he's saying is like get rid of the bug because they're gonna find it eventually.
Right.
But then they cut to the car wash where we see the jug of methylamine, where I guess that's where Walt decided to hide it.
That's like a fucking
Or whatever. Tank of methylamine.
Yeah, apparently that's where they were hiding it, and I guess it makes sense. I didn't even really like so much happened like last episode. I didn't even like wonder where Walt was hiding it. Like I didn't even enter my mind. Like there's so many other things to consider, I guess.
Yeah, it seems really obvious after they show us.
Yeah, like obviously, like why wouldn't Mike look there? You know, like.
And Skylar was pissed, and nobody cared.
Yeah,
Right.
Skylar and Walt have a little confrontation, and she wants to know what it is or what's going on, but he's like, "Do you really want to know?" Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else significant from that part.
Jesse is just seeing like maybe Walt or Mr. White is not like on the level because apparently if his own wife can't stand him, you know, like he's getting a lot more of the big picture with him, you know.
Oh yeah, and then there was that line, the "Vamonos" line, and Jesse says "Vamonos" to Skylar, and she just says "I wish." I'm not really sure what that meant, but
yeah, that caught me off guard. I forgot about that.
I think I looked it up. It's like
it's Spanish, like "let's get out of here."
Yeah,
yeah, it's like "we go."
Yeah,
in Spanish, but yeah, I guess that's what it was. Yeah.
So what happened next?
So the next thing is we get to see Mike's lawyer showing up with the bacon banana cookies.
That's right, the bacon banana cookies. He said that there's a little bacon in there to give a little pop, and that kind of like that. Just that line right there had me confused for the next 5 minutes because I'm like, wait, there's bacon in these cookies and banana, and like, meanwhile, this is the first time we see this character, and the correct
not the first time.
Well,
we saw him with when Mike was being posing as the paralegal earlier in the season.
Yep. Well, we definitely. He's not a big character, and like
first significant moment. I agree.
And the correct viewer response should be like, wait. What's he doing in this vault? And like I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking like, wait, there's bacon in these cookies?
Yeah.
And so the next, but we actually we figured it out, and this is how this guy is paying all the legacy costs to Mike's 9 guys.
And we also get to see Kaylee's fund.
Yeah, the huge.
Yeah, he's leaving a bunch for his granddaughter.
Yep.
So then we get another scene with Mike dumping everything into a hole basically in the desert, dumping all
his arsenal,
his laptop that with the bug, where he was listening to the bug, and guns and all that stuff. And when I was watching this, the first thing I thought of was like, is this really gonna be done with Mike?
Yep.
And like, is he just gonna leave and that's it?
Yeah, we're like, wait, this is kind of anticlimactic. If this is the last we see of Mike, he just leaves, you know. But it doesn't work out that way because what happens next, Colin?
Well, we also see him put his car in a parking lot. I think it was at the airport, right?
Yeah, he hit a key up in the airport, like garage somewhere, but we didn't know what the key was for.
Right, but not at that point. Yeah,
no, but we find out later.
And also, the DEA gets a search warrant and comes through his house as he's watching a cop movie. I don't know what that movie was, but I heard there was some significance. People looked into it. Did you recognize that movie, Corey?
No, I didn't. It was definitely some kind of noir movie though.
Yeah, it was an
No,
old.
I didn't notice what it was.
It was an old cop movie where it was like it was either about it was like about a bad cop or a like the main character was like kind of destroys everyone, like he gets reflects badly on everyone and causes bad things to happen. So kind of like Walt doing this to Mike, I guess it could be. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Walt.
I was definitely thinking about like, what movie is that? And I knew it must have had some kind of significance, but I didn't know what it was from what I saw, but I definitely knew it meant something. And yeah, Mike just he knows he's got nothing to hide really, and that's what Gomi says later. He's just living an old man's life. He's got nothing to hide for the most part.
Yeah. So next, we see Walt working on all the meth equipment. I think it's at their headquarters. I'm just going to call it now. With Jesse there, and he's trying to get Jesse to help him out, and he's talking about buying new power washers. Like,
Well, he wants to separate the cooks so they can make twice as much meth, because he's like, you're just as good as me now. And he's like, so now we can, double our workforce, by splitting up our cooks.
yeah, I think the main point is that he's basically just already considers Jesse still in.
He's almost manipulating too, because Jesse isn't really into it, but he's trying to like praise him, like, oh, you can run it on yourself because you're so good,
Yeah, and then Jesse ends up calling out Walt, like especially because of that scene last week where he hears him whistling, like he's definitely not broken up, and Walt brings up the fact that I have kids too and everything. And
No, he's like he's almost saying he's like more broken up than Jesse. He's like, well, I'm the father. I'm definitely more broken up than you are.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's so clearly not broken up about anything.
Yeah. How could you say that?
Yeah.
But Walt,
but that's all wearing thin. It's starting to wear thin on Jesse, and on Mike it was worn thin a long time ago.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Walt also brings up some points against Jesse, like I always try to think, like, 'cause everyone's always like, oh, Jesse's the moral high ground of the show, but like he kind of brings up things about Jesse that I think that kind of says like he's not innocent as much as we all think.
I know he's killed Gail, and he's like, when are you gonna start using again? What else are you gonna do? Just play video games for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Jesse's just like, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna figure it out, So Walt's just like poking holes in everything that Jesse does.
Yeah, he was desperate at that point. He knew he didn't want to do it, and so he just thought maybe just scare him into it,
Yeah, berate him.
And he basically says, why do you want this money so bad? It's blood money. You're too emotionally pure to take this blood money.
Yep.
And he also is bringing up points like, oh, we're already going to hell. Who cares?
Right.
So there's a lot of good lines I liked in that confrontation.
Yeah, it was good. I like how Jesse like ultimately just takes the high ground. He's like, you know what? Don't even pay me. I don't give a shit. And he just walks out.
Yeah, and that's basically how it ends. Yeah. Next up.
Yep.
Next up, it's Hank in the conference room of the DEA.
Right.
And,
he gets lectured by his superior, saying, just leave the case alone. You can't play favorites anymore, and you're wasting too much money.
Right.
Not so much significance, I guess. I mean, it was pretty straightforward. Basically, he's not allowed to do it anymore. But at the end, he tells Gomi to start surveilling. Is that a word? Surveilling.
Yeah.
Mr. Waxberger. What's his name?
His lawyer, or whatever.
Yeah, Mike's lawyer. And basically they decide to. And that's the point of that scene for the most part. Nothing real significant.
Yeah,
well, it's significant, but there's nothing to analyze.
Yeah, it basically led them to trail the lawyer because
I mean, it was their biggest break in the case apparently, because he said he was gonna. Once they started surveilling him, he decided to flip and give up all the information on Mike.
Right, but before that, we see Walt actually cooking, but we don't see who he's with until the shot pans over to Todd, who's his new recruit, and they have another cook montage, and they're just pretty much showing Walt teaching Todd the ropes of
Yep.
cooking meth.
He has a new apprentice.
And Todd seems to be learning too.
Yeah, you could tell that Walt wasn't exactly like he wasn't thrilled because obviously it's a rookie and he's like it was a long day because he was tired. Usually at their end of the cooks are not tired; they're just like more pepped up. But for this one, he looked exhausted. But he liked the fact that he said that Todd applied himself, and Todd, he's like, I'm not gonna let's not even talk about money until I'm good at this. So I think Walt's really gonna start liking this kid.
Oh yeah, I think he's already 100% in on him.
Yeah.
And
Todd's going to be his muscle, probably.
Right.
He's going to be everything that Jesse wasn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the DEA does follow his Mike's lawyer, and they catch him in the bank, putting money, paying off people basically through the safety deposit box. So, I mean, I don't know. Is this even legal, or maybe they got a search warrant?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I know. They just followed him into the bank, and I don't know. Maybe they had. I don't know if they need one.
Yeah, they were just
the bank volunteers.
Yeah.
That could be true.
So yeah,
That doesn't seem right, though. I think if you've got a safe deposit box back there, you should have some privacy.
Exactly. So basically, Mike is in trouble, but they take his lawyer back to the DA. But before that, we get to see Walt and Skylar having dinner together. And basically, I think Walt just is talking about his new buddy Todd and talking about how much he likes him and thinks it's going to work out. But then Skylar just walks away.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it for that scene.
Yeah, it was just another scene that really nailed, like, what's it called? Nails it in. The one of the nails in the coffin of their marriage, I guess.
I kind of thought they were. Go ahead.
No, that was it. It's just like it just shows that their marriage is just deteriorating. It's been there all season. Just another scene that just adds on to it,
I was gonna say the order of the scenes because the next scene, it goes directly to him crying to Hank.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if they're trying to show maybe it really is affecting him. I know it's he's acting to do that, but I don't know. It's just the order of the scene.
I definitely think it's either he actually feels that way or it's just giving him more inspiration, I guess, to be an asshole to Hank and just use Hank. I don't know. It's I want to say it's affecting him, the whole marriage thing, but at the same time, I don't think anything affects Walt anymore. He's been through so much in this series that I feel like nothing bothers him.
I think something will eventually because he doesn't look like a happy, go-lucky guy in that flash forward,
Well, you know, when he's having dinner and he just starts talking. It's really creepy now when he just starts talking like everything's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And, and he's done that all the time, but now it's just really creepy. And she just looks at him like, you think I really care? Like what?
Yeah.
But he just goes on as if it's Ward and June Cleaver,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Walt goes back and pulls the same thing at Hank's office, and not very subtle at all. He basically has to ask for coffee to get him out of, and picks up the bug from his office. But also he overhears that they got Mike's lawyer to flip, and they're gonna go after Mike.
Yep.
So next scene they show Kaylee on a swing and Mike watching. Mm-hmm.
And well, he gets a call from who calls him first? Oh, the lawyer calls him first.
Yep.
And he's like, "Hey, I'm close. I'll just meet you." And then Mike's like, "Well, that's weird." And then he sees and then Walt calls him. He's like, "Listen, they're after you. I guess someone flipped or whatever." And he's like, "You need to get out of there." And he sees all the cops pull up. And then he just kind of leaves. But Kaylee's still on the swing, and they never answered what happened to Kaylee. I guess the cops just picked her up because he just ditched her there.
Yeah, I think that shows Like, I don't know. It was definitely a hard decision he had to make about leaving his.
It's something you'd think he would never do, but apparently he did.
Yeah. She had it coming.
Yeah. Little bitch.
Yeah, you assume, I guess, the cops are going to, like, notify her what's going on or something. I don't know.
Right.
So, Walt and Jesse go consult with Saul in his office because they know now that Mike is compromised, and they are worried about Mike, first of all, and all of his guys that he's had to pay
Walt
off.
doesn't give a shit if Mike is going to jail, but he doesn't want to get in trouble.
Right, and they know
But
that
Jesse
Mike
cares.
wouldn't say anything,
Right.
but they are pretty sure that his guys that he's been paying off will.
Yeah.
And
Which basically leads to the whole Mike, which we find out what was in the airport with the key is that it's like his safety bag with a passport and all his money and guns and stuff just in case he needs to leave and
And Walt volunteers to pick it up after some deliberation.
Yeah. Which leads to the climax of the episode where they're basically just in the wilderness and Walt hands him the bag and Mike leaves, but then Walt's like, "Oh, well, you're welcome." He keeps wanting Mike to say thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. After all they've been through, he ends up killing him just because he confronted him about being an egotistical bastard, and he had no reason to kill him at that point.
Yeah, he even says after he kills him, I could have got the names from Lydia, and he basically just killed him because he made him mad.
Yeah,
think about
it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, first off, this is Mike. You can tell was holding back. I felt the entire season, but then he finally just goes off on Walt, saying, we had a good thing going. You blew it up. You ruined everything, all because you're an egotistical bastard for the most part. And this just drives Walt up the wall.
Because it was true.
Yeah, but
it's true.
It pissed him off. But I think that this is the turning point for Walt. He's full Heisenberg now. He's definitely on the dark side. He's not a good guy anymore. I think this is it. This is the turning point. Has to be, right?
And you could definitely tell they showed him staring at the gun in the bag, and I know we were talking about it when we were watching because we actually got to watch this one together. We were trying to figure out if he was going to do it, kill Mike, and
right. We just couldn't think of a reason why he would. But we both felt like it was going to happen, but we didn't know why. And I guess the reason wasn't that good, but it still happened.
Yeah. So basically, that's it. They kill Mike. There's a really kind of disturbing scene where they just sitting there looking out on the water or whatever it was.
Well, they used their second swear of the season, like you said, they're limited 2 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that way, but it used to be like that. Yeah.
So yeah, they used their second swear and Walt's like, I'm sorry, man. And he's like, just shut the fuck up and let me die in peace. And he's just staring at the river with the sunset, and he just kind of falls over and dies.
But according to Mike, he thinks their only option is to leave. So he thinks Jesse and Walt should take off. But Walt says he can't because he's people depending on him, which is pretty ridiculous. But
no, he is. He's turned into a sociopath, and he's just every move he makes is just some kind of manipulation to further his empire. That's all he. That's what he's become. That's all he's about, and it's so. I think they're setting up some kind of union between Jesse and Skylar.
Oh, that's pretty good.
There was just those little signs, where he was like "Vamonos" and she was like, "I wish."
Yep.
Let's get out of here. I can't. I wish I could get out of here.
Yeah, it's definitely. And
he's starting to witness how he treats her and shit, and I think they're going to be sympathetic to each other and work together at some point.
It just goes back to what we were talking about before the season. is like, oh, they're gonna have another, villain for Walt to go against, and we said, nah, it'd be better if they. And I love the way like they played it this season. It's just like the demise of Walt almost. He's turning into the bad guy. And I just it's such an interesting storyline that
Right.
I've never seen it before.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And now the question is, what do they do next? I think that they're gonna obviously go after those guys on the list, and Lydia's not gonna be afraid to give it up because she tried to do it before.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're in prison, so they're gonna have to figure something out.
Well, in the promo, we saw a lot of shankings in the prison.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think they're gonna have some connections with Saul, and I think Saul's gonna be involved with the shankings. But I mean, so we have one more episode. It's season finale. Where do you think? Because are we all in that there's gonna be a cliffhanger?
I think so.
What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I think this episode was the big, was the big revelation or big twist, and I think this last episode, I don't know, who knows, but I'm guessing that they're going to be setting up next season.
Yeah.
All right, so we all agree
agree
that it'll be a cliffhanger. Colin, what do you think the cliffhanger will be if you had to predict?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's gonna be. I kind of like that prediction about Jesse and Skylar. Go ahead, Joe.
Didn't Hank see a picture of
That's right.
Walter?
Was it Walter?
He saw a photo that was surveillance photo of Mike, and there was a photo of. Remember, he was in that meeting and he was looking at the photos.
Yeah.
And he saw a photo of Walt.
Are you sure it was Walt?
I'm positive.
I thought it was just Mike in the diner.
I thought it was in the diner too. I mean, we went back and looked at it, and I couldn't figure out what he was.
Did you really?
At. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could be right because I couldn't figure out why he did a double take, because I could see Mike obviously. I was thinking it was at the diner with Lydia, and he was meeting up with Madrigal, and he's like, oh, that is a connection, but I didn't see Lydia really in there.
No.
So I don't know. That's probably something we should look up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. I definitely didn't see Walt, but I was wondering what was the. I don't know. I what was the point of that him looking at the pictures, because it showed all the music going off. I don't know.
And that was the only picture it showed twice.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. If you saw Walt, I feel like something big would have happened.
Yeah.
But there was definitely something significant about it, though.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I've got it on DVR. I'm going to watch it again, but I can't find it right now.
Is there anything else, Colin?
What do you think is the cliffhanger, Corey?
I want to say Skylar's gonna die, but I feel like they killed Mike. They can't really kill two main characters in 2 episodes, But I guess it doesn't matter because
I think that's a definite strong possibility, but I don't know if they would do it so fast too. After they just killed Mike, I don't know. I think that could we haven't seen Walter Jr. in a while. Something could happen with him. I don't know.
Maybe he gets in a car accident.
Maybe finally.
Finally.
Like you're waiting for it.
Oh, I'm waiting.
You don't even know. Colin's been waiting for. Give Joe your quick little.
Right,
prediction.
Ted Beneke thing.
Yeah.
I think Ted Beneke and Walter Jr. look exactly alike, and they've had some hints at it before, Ted Beneke, in season 2 or 3, sees Walter Jr. and he's like, oh, he's looking so handsome or something, and she's like, Skylar just goes, yeah, and Ted says a comment like, "Yeah, it must be the good genes or something." Like he knows that it's his kid or something like that. Because they always talked about how Ted had a history with her. So I don't know if it's right or not, but it's just something that I thought could throw Walt over the edge if it came out.
Yeah, I don't know if that. I mean, we're running out of time, right? There's only 9 more episodes total left in the season.
Yeah, I just looked at that scene again, and I think you're right. I thought it was I think it was Mike sitting on the bench.
Yeah, I don't know what they were trying to get at it, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what he saw something in the photos though.
Yeah. So any other things that we're missing, Colin?
No, that's it. I guess we could speculate, but I think we did enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Skylar's gonna die. I think Jesse might die. I think Skylar's gonna outlive him.
You think Skylar's gonna outlive Jesse?
Gonna outlive Walter.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't think so. But I don't know. I really don't know. A lot can happen. I just don't know how much they're gonna fit into this one episode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So
that's why I don't think they're gonna try. I think they're gonna, like you said, I think they're gonna use it to set up next season.
Right. All right. Well, I think we exhausted our possibilities. Want to do our plugs real quick, Colin?
Yeah, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, on iTunes. On iTunes, you can search the C+C Connection. Also, you can
email us.
Okay. Do you want to just do it?
Well, I like to mix it up. You know, you could do one, I could do one. I don't want to. It's not fair when all of us or one that just has to do it. You know.
Okay, go ahead.
You can email us at theccconnection@gmail.com.
You could tweet at us at DCC Connection on Twitter.
Subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes. I think you already said that one though.
You guys are so gay.
Whatever, man. And you can comment on our YouTube videos. If you comment, if you comment something insightful, we will talk about it next episode of our podcast. Even your troll comments, we'll try to, as long as they're somewhat educated, I guess we'll get to it. But, leave something interesting. If you like how we did this podcast, watch our other podcasts. We do other TV shows such as The Newsroom and Hell on Wheels and other shows like that. So watch those and let us know what you think. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
All right, guys. This is the CNC Connection signing off.